I'm Del from the band Pullback.
I'm Jake the Snake. I was drummer for Detroit punk rocker Tommy Trash 5 years.
And he's a Polak.
I'm Brown.
Oh, fuck.
Sex traffickers. Andrew and Tristan Tate just landed. Sex traffickers. Like that Kamala Harris when these people were burning down, what's that city they burned down? What Walsh was in?
Fuck, I don't remember the name
Was
of
it
it.
Minneapolis?
Yeah, or not, maybe.
Anyway, she started that fund to get these people out of jail. And then they had a list of these motherfuckers. One guy went out, she got him out, her fund got him out, then he went out and killed somebody. They all have fucking criminal records. And she's got them all out, and then they went on to commit other crimes, including murder.
Here you go.
Coming up?
So the Tates just landed in Florida yesterday. Now there's the news is going crazy now.
Yeah, they call them sex traffickers.
Yeah. And they've already proven that they weren't.
I know.
In the past couple of years in that case. It says Governor DeSantis is not a fan of the Tate's brothers coming to the state of Florida.
I read about it through the media. Clearly, the federal government has jurisdiction. We have no involvement in that. I read about it through the media. Clearly, the federal government has jurisdiction, whether they want to rebuff his entry.
Read about it through what media?
Yeah.
Probably the left or the right media. I mean, the left media, I'm sorry. Which is definitely biased.
In the United States, I have confidence that whether it's
Then they're calling them sex traffickers. They've been proven that they weren't.
Yeah.
But yet they're still referring them as sex traffickers because they don't like them.
Or Christine Owens, that they will be looking at that. I do know our Attorney General, James Boothmeyer, is looking at what state hooks and jurisdiction we may have to be able to deal with this. But the reality is no, Florida is not a place where you're welcome with that type of conduct in the air. And I don't know how it came to this. We were not involved. We were not notified.
Are they trying to throw them out of Florida, or they just don't? Are they trying to throw them out, or they just don't want them there, or what?
I get the reporter just asked the question like, how do you feel about, like, did you invite them here?
Oh, okay.
And he's like, no, we don't want them here.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Hey, God.
That's fucking. It's so weird that DeSantis doesn't even know what's going on.
Yeah,
He thinks they're bad.
He's been doing pretty good in Florida.
Yeah, I seen something. He's trying to get property tax taken away there.
Oh wow, that's good.
Yeah, Florida launches investigation into Andrew Tate. But they're lawyers from Florida.
Oh, their lawyers are?
Yeah. Yeah, look at, okay, this post. Republican Governor Ron DeSantis says that Florida does not welcome Andrew Tate and his brother following the news of them flying to Florida from Romania. And then you can tell how they're trying to portray this Andrew Tate by the picture that's right when he got out of prison.
Yeah.
And it's like, you see that guy, you don't know who it is. You think, oh, that's a,
looks like
scrappy, like,
rapist.
Yeah, exactly.
A criminal rapist, serial rapist.
How they pick the pictures is ridiculous.
Well, I won't take a picture of him when he's looking, when he looks nice.
Yeah, like how he normally looks.
Like there, like in that one, that's how he normally looks.
Yeah.
They took one where he's all scruffy and shit.
Oh, I'm on the post.
If we're going to speak about getting rid of the pot.
Candace Owens says about it. She's friends with the Tates.
Yeah, she's pretty right on about things too, She's not afraid to say what she thinks either.
Yeah, I think sometimes she just goes for it even when she doesn't know what she's talking about, though. But she's got balls, man.
Oh, yeah, she definitely does. Man.
Could you imagine being
big
her
blonde.
husband and like, getting in a fight with her?
Shit.
That shit would be scary as fuck.
Oh, yeah, man.
Because she just comes at you and at you and at you.
Put him in his place real fucking quick,
Yeah.
man. Emasculate the motherfucker real quick, you know.
And by the way, if we're going to speak about getting rid of pornography, the very last people we should be worrying about is Andrew and Tristan Tate. Okay, let's talk about Pornhub. Like, really, guys, if we're going to go for it, let's talk about Pornhub. And so I just had the nuance.
Her video editor is from the Real World app.
Oh, no shit.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she didn't even know until after she hired him, and like he was working better than anybody.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, "Holy shit, where'd you learn to edit videos like this?" He's like, "Andrew Tate school."
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Read the case and everyone condemned me. How could you defend them? I'm just reading the facts and they're not going to be convicted. Well, guess what? That happened. Okay. The case ended up being thrown out in Romania. They said there's no evidence here. It's exactly what I was saying. There's not enough evidence here to.
Dude, they went through all their texts they've ever made, all their computers, went through everything, could not find an evidence of anything illegal.
But yet they're still labeling them, you know.
Yeah, the media is.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's
it's
what
like,
I'm saying.
they just make shit up. You know?
Or they'll leave shit out.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's just, could you imagine being attacked like that by governments? You know?
Man, that would be awful, dude.
And
We went to 2 years of that shit in Romania, right? It's 2 years.
well, they went to, because in Romania, if you're accused of something, you go straight to jail.
Oh, man.
And then, they take their time to figure out if you're guilty.
Especially with those guys, you know.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they're like the big stars of Romania because no one cares about the country other than them living there,
Exactly, yeah.
But, so, they're able to hold you in jail, I think it's 9 months. And they were in jail for like 3 or 4 months, I think. And then they got let out on house arrest. And then they got off house arrest. And then got put back on house arrest. Just a few days ago, they got taken off house arrest. And then the Trump administration got them to where they could leave Romania.
That's good.
Well, I think they're friends with Don Jr., I think.
Oh, okay. That makes
And then
sense.
Andrew's been on calls with like that Alex Jones when he got reinstated on X.
Yeah.
Everybody was on that call, and him and Elon talked a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Bring charges against them, and the prosecutors essentially were going to have to rebuild an entire case to try to charge them, at which case it looks like the Trump administration intervened because they are American citizens and they were just brought back to America. They are now on America.
Do they have dual citizenship or?
Yeah, well, what happened was they were born here, and their mom was from England, and their dad got kicked out of the military and couldn't support them anymore.
Okay.
So their mom took them back to England where they have free housing and stuff, and they lived in a homeless shelter for a few years there until they got, government housing. But yeah, they only spent like the first 8 to 10 years of their life in the U.S.
Oh, okay.
And then the rest of it in England. That's why Andrew has that weird, like it's kind of an English accent, but not really.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that.
Tristan's English accent is a lot stronger because he was 2 years younger when they moved to England,
They landed this morning, and for some reason people are angry about that because they don't like who Andrew and Tristan Tate are. They do not like their
right there. They just don't like who they are and what they stand for.
Yeah.
Personas. They don't like the way that they speak to women. And so they're happy to have these men be wrongfully convicted for something that they didn't do. I cannot understand this logic. I cannot understand why you think you need to like someone or agree with their lifestyles in order to say that no person should spend a single second in
They're infected with the woke mind virus. That's why.
prison for something that they didn't do. Like that is the moral stance to have, that due process is right, and that if they are an American citizen, of course they believe.
What pisses me off is she's one of the very few people that stand up for them, because like we just seen Ron DeSantis isn't, and a lot of like the conservative people that they stand up for Trump and they stand up for RFK and Elon, but they won't stand up for the Tates because it's just so such a
Well, is it
taboo thing.
Yeah, I was going to say because they're controversial, and like you said, it's a taboo subject, you know.
But so is Trump and Elon and all that.
Yeah.
But it's like with the Tates, Tate kind of presents himself as like this dangerous, you know, bad person, you know, or he did at first during like when he blew up on TikTok and shit. And it's like, so I understand that, but the thing is, no one does research. Like I remember when Tate was all over TikTok, you couldn't scroll 5 videos without a Tate clip.
Wow.
So, you know, and you know he's kind of loud and arrogant and shit.
Oh, he's definitely arrogant.
And
I
so
agree with that.
I was like, this fucking loudmouth. I'm sick of seeing him, you know. But then Patrick Bet-David went and did a 5-hour interview with him.
Oh, wow, the 5 hours?
Mm-hmm. And I watched it because I love Patrick Bet-David. And then Andrew Tate was like, if you listen to him long form, you understand him a lot better. He's extremely intelligent. You know, he just did the TikTok thing. It's marketing, you know. With social media, you have to get attention.
Oh, definitely.
And
I agree.
He knew how to do that. And then anyone that is gonna, like, you know, most people are just gonna scroll and they're not gonna think about it. They're just gonna keep scrolling, just brainless activity. But if you actually go and listen to somebody, you know, you realize it was just a marketing campaign to listen to what he actually has to say if you go listen to him, you know, instead of just these clips of podcasts he goes on. And I don't get, people just don't do any research, you know. They'll still say, like, he's a human trafficker. It's like,
they just don't bother to look into things, you know. That's why, like me, I didn't care for Trump at all, man. When I finally started listening to what he had to say, what he stood for, you know, because these news stations that come up, and people my age, my generation, that's usually what comes up for them to watch.
Yeah.
You don't know any better. And then, like I said, what it got my attention when they tried to stop him from running for president. I said, wait a minute, that isn't right, you know, even though I didn't like him. And then I said, well, I really never listened to what he had to say. You know, then I started checking in, listening to his speeches and listening to what he stood for, and I was kind of ashamed of myself, you know,
But the thing is once you got the information, you looked into it.
Yeah,
and a lot of people don't. They refuse to listen.
Oh, yeah, they won't. They won't. Well, I definitely know people like that. They won't. No, they just, I mean, they got this picture of them in their mind, and they just won't let go of it.
Yeah.
You know, they just got to follow that.
Because then they have to admit they're wrong, and they can't do it.
Oh, no, these people, no. Especially these people on the left, they refuse. You know, just even look at anything else but what they want to see.
Yeah. You know? But I think with the Tates, you know, because they got banned off everything. Oh. And you can't really, so did Trump, but you can't ban Trump to that degree.
No, not
because of his, you know, and it was so hard to get the information about Tate, you know. I think that's why just so many people, even on the conservative side, don't understand. Plus, he mouths off a bit and like he's pretty.
I definitely agree with that. Oh, he's an arrogant motherfucker.
But that's why I like at first I hated it when I just seen him on social media. I was like, fuck this asshole.
Oh, he's arrogant as hell, man, you know.
Yeah, but it's like an act though. Like everybody that is close to him knows him, says he's like the nicest guy who will do anything for you. Well, and he even like if you watch the long form stuff he's done, like not the girl podcast he goes on shit, but like the actual real stuff, like he explains his method, you know. You have a message that needs to get out to people, you know, to change the culture because everyone's going nuts. You have to get as many eyes on it as possible. So you go on, and even when he was on social media mouthing off, he wasn't saying anything that wasn't true. He was just saying it in an abrasive way. You know?
Abrasive is very light. I mean, lightly used.
But he's good at it, man.
Oh, he's goddamn good at it.
And he's hilarious.
I know. Gets him in trouble, too.
The video, afraid of bubbles.
Yeah, we were talking about that, me liking the sparkling water, you know.
Yeah.
And, you said, What do you call it? Something about the guy was afraid of bubbles or some shit?
Yeah, Andrew's saying it was some bit about it. They gave someone a sparkling water, and like, oh no, I don't like that. He's like, what are you, afraid of bubbles? It's like, that's not a man that'll go in the trenches and die for you if they're afraid of bubbles, you know? But he says like so much true stuff. Like, I remember because when I didn't like Andrew Tate and I just seen him on social media before that Patrick Bet David podcast, you know, I'd stay on a clip, you know, for a couple seconds, and I remember thinking like, well, I don't disagree with him at all, but like the way he says is just so douchey, you know? And then, you know, that's just kind of as far as I went with it until the Patrick Bet David podcast. I listened to like, oh, this guy's a fucking super genius and a great fucking marketer. You know, he became the most Googled person on earth.
Wow.
So it's like, even if a bunch of people hate him, that's still an insane achievement, you know?
Yeah, and you still got to keep that persona too, you know?
Yeah, well, you know, the persona, it's like, you know, if I'm playing in a band and stuff, like, there's a little bit of acting involved when it comes to entertainment, but it's all like a part of you, right? You can't, like, it has to be part of your personality. So he has a certain part of his personality that he exaggerates because it works for him, you know? He couldn't, when you're performing, you can't completely come up with a different personality. You have to exaggerate something that's already kind of there. Yeah. You know? So it's like, if that's what works for him, that's what works for him.
And that used to crack me up, like the girls that come up to the stage and stuff, but they expect you to be like crazy and wild.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's sort of like it's expected of you. If they find out you're normal, they wouldn't like you. You know, like, I was always the kind of guy you didn't bring home to mom and dad, you know?
Well, the girls that go to shows, that's what they're looking for, you know?
Oh, yeah, because this one girl I met, she was with her boyfriend, in fact, and it was crazy, but I ended up going out with her once, and her dad was a city councilman in Riverview, and I walked in, her, and she told me to come in, I said, I don't know about this, so I had to meet her mother, and I heard her mother say, Don, I want to talk to you in the kitchen. And I can hear her say, Don, what's your father going to say? He's dark and he's got that haircut and he's got all those tattoos. What's your father going to say? She was like 20 years old, man, you know? It's crazy.
Long back on American soil. And so Ron DeSantis, who kind of has always danced to his donors' emotions, it came out and it was asked about them landing in Florida, which is, like I said, they're American citizens. And here's what Ron DeSantis said.
There's some reporting out there that controversial podcaster and accused human trafficker Andrew Tate came on his way to Florida. Is he welcome here? What did the state do to send him back to Romania or whatever?
Well, we have no involvement in that. I read about it through the media. Clearly, the federal government has jurisdiction whether they want to rebuff his entry into the United States, and I have confidence that whether it's Pam Bondi or Christy Noem, that they will be looking at that. I do know our Attorney General, James Owens, is looking at what state hooks and jurisdiction we may have to be able to deal with this. But the reality is no, Florida is not a place where you're welcome with that type of conduct in the air. And I don't know how it came to this. We were not involved. We were not notified. I found out through the media that this was something that was happening.
You know, because, you know, I was kind of shocked that he felt that way because he's always like so anti-woke, you know, and he gets rid of all this bullshit and like this shit in the schools and stuff. And I'm just surprised that he's against them, you know.
Well, it doesn't get reported that they couldn't find evidence and all that stuff. None of that was reported ever by any media.
No.
You have to go on Rumble and go to their stuff and listen to their lawyer or go on X. And,
yeah, it's not reported in the mainstream.
Yeah, the mainstream keeps saying human trafficker.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that just when you were scrolling through this. I've seen that. Yeah. Human trafficker Andrew Tate, you know.
It's insane, man.
Or they call him human sex trafficker, they call him.
Yeah.
That is deranged. That is not a conservative perspective. That should not be a liberal perspective. They were not convicted of anything. They were convicted of nothing. And what he is saying is that based on their conduct, even the person asking the question says they were accused. They weren't convicted. That's the point. Being accused of a crime means absolutely nothing. Okay, as we have learned, you can be accused of anything today. You can be accused of being a sexual abuser or a sexual harasser if you're Justin Baldoni. The question is, were they convicted? If the answer is no, I don't really care about how Ron DeSantis feels about an American citizen coming home. That disqualifies him for ever running for president of the United States ever again. Okay, if you cannot set aside your emotions.
That's a good point, because if he, because he became like the favorite, during the beginning of the whole Republican running.
Oh yeah.
And he wound up fucking himself. But if he would have been president, that means Andrew and Tristan would be going straight to fucking jail or something.
Big time, yeah.
They'd be fucked. And that's scary to think about. Because Ron DeSantis, he's like known as the best governor in the country.
Yeah, I know. I was surprised that he felt that way.
Yeah, there's just a couple things are so off with him that it's just like compromising.
I don't know if maybe he's under some kind of pressure or something. Maybe he feels that he won't be as popular if you don't,
Right, because most of the people don't know that he's not.
Exactly.
Well, DeSantis might not know.
That's very possible.
I mean, why would he look into the guys in Romania getting charged with whatever? He's got shit to do.
A lot of shit to do.
We do not need you in leadership positions. If you are not able to look at things objectively, whether you're looking at someone, you go, oh, I don't agree with their politics.
Well, she's really upset about this shit, man. Look at her.
Yeah.
Politics. It's Matt Lauer. People that cheered
She's
on
always
because
pretty
it was Matt
animated,
Lauer and
though.
he's on the left. You're a loser. Okay, you're a loser that you can't set aside your politics, that you can't set aside your emotions, and you can't set aside your beliefs. By the way, to realize that the Constitution does not exist because of how you feel.
That's true. A lot of these people just, react to their emotions rather than facts.
Oh, I saved a bunch of gore videos for us not to react to right now, but
sick fuck.
Well, this is 36 minutes ago.
I look forward to once I am, and I'm very close to the Trump family. I know them well, and I spoke to Barron after the incident, and I look forward to once I am free being with Donald Trump in person and reminding him that he's a bulletproof badass.
So is he friends with Barron Trump too? Because you said he just talked to Barron.
Well, Barron's pretty young, so I don't know if he's friends with him, but.
They are accused rapists who Tate landed in Florida today on a private jet after being released from custody in Romania. They are accused rapists, human traffickers, not thought of as good people in many circles. Did your administration pressure the Romanian government to release them? And if so,
I know nothing about that. I don't know. You're saying he's on a plane right now?
He's back. They are.
Yeah, I just know nothing about it. We'll check it out. We'll let you know.
Obviously, this involves, there's an English element here, so obviously it's important that justice is done, and human trafficking is obviously, to my mind, a security risk. And so we'll catch up with the story in due course.
Are you aware? I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, so that UK guy is trying to say, oh, well, Trump, I'll tell you all later about it. He needs to go to jail, Because UK is trying to lock him up.
Oh, UK is bad anymore, man. When that one guy got 2 years in prison for posting something on Facebook.
He saying men can't breastfeed.
No, that was in Iceland, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was in Iceland. I'm talking about, somebody got 2 years and for posting something on Facebook, and somebody didn't agree with it. And man, he ended up in prison for 2 years. I think he's still in prison.
That is why
woke shit cancel culture is bullshit, man.
Yeah, this is the Prime Minister of UK.
Between our two countries, that is why this is the greatest alliance for prosperity and security I think the world has ever seen. Whenever necessary, we absolutely backed each other up, and that's.
Could you take on Russia by yourselves?
Well,
look at his face.
It looks like you just ate a pile of shit.
Yeah. He's like, what do you mean a good alliance? Like, you're worthless, motherfucker. Oh my God. Yeah, the Tate thing's ridiculous, man. I'm so excited they're back because I've been, watching all their podcasts.
You've been talking about them for a long time, man.
Yeah, well, I log into their school every day and shit, and that's where I learn all the video editing and all the AI shit and everything. And, You know, they do all these emergency meetings, all these podcasts and stuff. I watch every goddamn one. So I've been following every detail of this thing. And just every time I talk to someone about the Tates, they're, oh, human traffickers. It's like, oh my God, you're fucking retarded.
Well, all these clips, you know, that's all I need. Human sex traffickers.
It's like, it's the exact same as Trump being a Russian agent or whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
All of the pain.
Don't understand what they voted for and like what it means.
The fright.
The bigotry and hatred that they stand behind and how